Hello, family. Welcome to Jane's Story Time. Here's part 2 of the previous story. In case you missed it, check our YouTube channel. Here's the summary of part 1. Amanda's perfect marriage shatters when her husband David forgets to end a call, revealing a cruel betrayal with her best friend Cassandra. Silently, she begins documenting lies, studying every detail without confrontation. As her world collapses, she leans on her loyal cousin Ruth and David's perceptive brother Abel. Through calculated silence and emotional strength, Amanda leaves behind the deception and reclaims her peace. Cassandra loses everything. Silas is left in ruins. In the end, Amanda doesn't seek revenge, only restoration. She rises not with rage, but with wisdom, teaching other women the power of stillness, truth, and choosing themselves. Please subscribe and leave a like for us. It means the world to us. Also, share this video to your friends and loved ones and turn on post notifications so you don't miss future videos from us. Thank you as you do so. Sit back and relax as we dive into the story. The day Amanda Otieno's name trended was not the day she was honored. It was the day she was weaponized. She had been in a sunlit room at the Hive, an upscale co-working space in Victoria Island, sitting on a panel about women reshaping leadership in post-colonial Africa. There was coffee in a ceramic mug beside her, notes scrawled in indigo ink, and a soft breeze coming in from the Atlantic. Amanda had spoken with the calm fire she was known for: measured, intelligent, and resilient. A few hours later, Naija Femme Rising published their glowing piece about her journey from NGO activist to social entrepreneur. The internet responded with applause. But before the day ended, a shadow crept in under the praise. The hashtags grew curious, then accusatory. Amanda sat on her balcony that evening, watching Lagos burn gold in the dying light, phone in hand. Her name sat atop the trending page with a caption that read, "She didn't choose peace. She chose her husband's brother." She scrolled. Anonymous accounts dropped carefully crafted insinuations that her relationship with Abel, her ex-husband David's younger brother, had started long before the ink dried on her divorce papers. They called her a chameleon cloaked in grace. Peace or performance, one tweet read, with a photo of Amanda smiling at a charity gala with Abel beside her, cropped tightly, eyes too close for innocence. Amanda locked her phone and stared out into the street. A street vendor shouted the price of roasted plantains. The mosque called worshippers to prayer. Yet in Amanda's chest, it was unbearably quiet. The silence wasn't peaceful anymore. It was accusatory. That night, she didn't sleep. The account looked like a generic lifestyle blog. It posted quotes with floral backgrounds: queen, healer, lover. But tucked in between affirmations were daggers. She called it self-love. Her friends call it self-delusion. She wanted peace after stealing her sister's husband? Make it make sense. Amanda didn't need confirmation. The venom tasted familiar. It was Cassandra's flavor, sweet, poised, and lethal. Cassandra Nwosu was once Amanda's closest friend. They had organized women's retreats together. They prayed in the same Bible study group. Cassandra had helped zip up Amanda's gown on her wedding day. But something dark had bloomed in her after Amanda left David. She hadn't screamed or cried. She had simply disappeared, then reemerged online, cloaked in motivational memes and passive-aggressive wisdom. Amanda couldn't prove it. Not directly, but the rhythm of the captions, the insider knowledge, the specific photos chosen, it all pointed to Cassandra. No one else had that access. No one else would stitch quotes from Amanda's own journal into meme culture and post them anonymously. Ruth was the only one Amanda still confided in. That night, over okra soup and silence, Ruth said, "She doesn't want truth. She wants your story to be hers." Amanda nodded slowly. "And I won't feed her. Not with noise. I will document. I will wait. She wants me to burn loud. I will freeze her out with quiet." Amanda wasn't surprised when Naomi stopped replying. Her message had been kind on the surface. "Just checking in. I hope you're okay amidst the noise." But the follow-up question had teeth. "Was it true? You and Abel? Before David?" Amanda didn't answer with rage. She simply typed, "No. But truth doesn't matter to people who want scandal more than sincerity." Naomi read it, but never replied. That was the real answer. The silence spread like rot. Collaborators she'd worked with for years stopped commenting on her posts. Invitations dried up. Even the Heritage Cafe, where Amanda had held monthly women's wellness circles for 2 years, hesitated. The manager, with eyes full of pity, said, "We've had concerns. Some of our patrons, they're not comfortable right now." Amanda smiled. "Thanks for telling me." She stepped outside and walked along a dusty alley behind the cafe. It was evening in Surulere. Children kicked a deflated ball. A woman balanced water on her head with regal grace. But Amanda felt like an invisible woman. Her peace was no longer sacred, it had become a crime scene. And yet, she said nothing. She walked home barefoot on memory and whispered, "You win, Cassandra. You made me a question mark again." It wasn't until Ruth attended a corporate cocktail event at Terraculture that everything clicked. She heard the laugh before she saw her, Cassandra's crystalline, careful laugh. She was sitting across a slim wine table from a journalist known for leaking gossip anonymously. "She thinks her silence makes her look wise," Cassandra was saying, "but I made her unforgettable. People remember scandals, not prayers." Ruth didn't wait to confront her. She simply turned on her phone recorder quietly, slipped behind a partition, and documented the conversation. Cassandra's voice was laced with poison and pride. "Let her journal. I built the storm. She'll always be reacting, never leading." That night, Ruth burst into Amanda's apartment, shaking with rage. "She doesn't just hate you. She built this." Amanda, wrapped in a shawl and brewing lemongrass tea, said calmly, "I know, but this isn't about revenge anymore. This is about control. She wants my reaction. She wants my anger in public. That's her fuel." Ruth paced. "So what now?" Amanda looked up, eyes like still water. "We don't give her fuel. We starve her with peace." The voice note came past midnight. It was David, her ex-husband. His voice was brittle, broken like bone rubbed against pavement. "I didn't love her," he confessed. "Not really, but I didn't know she'd use me to hurt you." He paused. "I should have said something earlier. I thought I was in control, but I was just another character in her drama." Amanda didn't cry. She didn't even blink. Abel played her the voice note at a quiet cafe on Bordillo. "Do you want to hear it?" he asked. She looked away. "I don't need to. I already lived it. Let the apology be his closure, not mine." Later, Amanda opened a journal entry from 2 years ago. It read, "One day the people who hurt me will say sorry, and it will matter less than the tea I drink that morning." She smiled faintly, then turned the page and wrote, "I was not the villain. I was just the one who left early." The world outside was still spinning, but inside something had finally stopped hurting. It was a Thursday morning when Amanda opened her email to find a rejection not of her proposal, but of her presence. "In light of ongoing public scrutiny, we regret to inform you that we're postponing our collaboration indefinitely." The brand had once courted her relentlessly. Now her silence made them nervous. The noise hadn't faded. Cassandra, ever strategic, had sensed Amanda's reluctance to respond and twisted it into guilt. "The truly guilty are always quiet," read one post from her anonymous blog. Amanda recognized the phrasing. It was her old language repurposed against her. That night, she and Ruth watched a live video Cassandra posted. She was seated in a minimalist living room, dressed in cream, tears welling in carefully highlighted eyes. "We've all made mistakes," Cassandra sniffed, "but I never meant to hurt anyone, especially not a sister." The comments were split, some sympathetic, others scathing. "Where's the apology to Amanda?" one viewer asked. "This is performance art," said another. Amanda sipped her tea and said nothing. Ruth leaned forward, indignant. "She's trying to cleanse herself with crocodile tears. Are you seriously just going to let this slide?" Amanda turned to her, gaze unwavering. "Crocodiles cry to lubricate their jaws. She's preparing to bite again. Let her." She stood, stretched, and walked to her garden. The bougainvillea vines didn't know gossip. They only bloomed. Amanda inhaled deeply, letting the night air root her again. She had stopped needing applause, but she hadn't stopped being real. Amanda hadn't planned to speak publicly again. But when Donnie Abiola, the radio host from Yaba FM, reached out with a handwritten letter instead of an email, something shifted. "I don't want gossip. I want your story," Alice wrote. "No cameras, no audience manipulation. Just your voice." The station was tucked in a modest building off Herbert Macaulay Road. The air smelled of coffee and aged wood. Amanda sat in front of a single mic, her voice echoing softly through headphones. Alice asked gently, "What did this season of your life teach you?" Amanda paused. "That peace is often louder than war, but it takes longer to hear it." There was no bitterness in her tone, only reflection. She didn't name Cassandra. She didn't attack David. She spoke of self-worth, of walking away before the house burns, of the courage it takes to let people misunderstand you and not chase them down with explanations. The clip went viral within hours, not because it was explosive, but because it wasn't. A single line was replayed across platforms. "I didn't leave a man. I left a version of myself that tolerated being unloved in the name of duty." That night, Abel messaged her. "That was grace wrapped in thunder," he wrote. Amanda didn't reply immediately. She stared at the rain sliding down her window and whispered, "Maybe it's finally time to stop whispering my truth." The envelope came days later. Brown, creased, unmarked, except for her name. She opened it carefully and instantly recognized the handwriting. David's precise, slightly slanted. Inside he wrote, "I thought I could control the narrative. I let Cassandra tell your story because I didn't have the courage to confront my own failure." He didn't ask for forgiveness. He didn't even apologize. It was more of a confession than a healing balm. He admitted he had watched Cassandra manipulate stories, turn friends, plant seeds of doubt, and he said nothing. Amanda read it once, then walked to the fire pit on her balcony. She lit the letter and let the paper burn slowly, the smoke curling into the Lagos dusk. Ruth arrived minutes later, holding plantain chips and looking hopeful. "He sent you a letter?" Ruth asked. Amanda nodded. "Not to ask for forgiveness, just to let me know he regrets not stopping the train he helped start." "Do you feel better?" "No," Amanda replied. "But I feel clearer. That's enough." It was at a women's literary salon in Ikoyi where Amanda saw Abel again. He wore a soft brown caftan and looked older, not in age but in spirit. His eyes searched the room until they found hers. He didn't rush. He walked toward her like he had all the time in the world. "I came to hear words," he said, "and somehow I found the one person who taught me silence." Amanda smiled softly. "I wasn't sure we'd speak again. We never stopped. You were always in the room, even when the room was empty." They walked outside after the readings, settling beneath a jacaranda tree. Purple blossoms rained down softly. She exhaled. "I kept thinking that loving you out loud would confirm their accusations. I never needed to be your secret," he said gently. "I just wanted to be your peace." Amanda looked at him. "Maybe I needed to learn how to love without proving it." They didn't kiss. They didn't define anything. They just sat. And for once, that was enough. The invitation came on a silver-trimmed card. Amanda Otieno was selected to deliver the closing keynote at the Global Women's Leadership Summit in Accra. The theme, redefining legacy. Ruth, always her anchor, stared at the card in their shared kitchen. "You can't say no to this," she said. "You owe it to the girl who stayed quiet in order to survive." Amanda wasn't sure. What if they still see me as a villain? Then stand for the ones who never did. On the day of the summit, Amanda stood behind the curtain in a deep indigo gown. The hall was massive marble pillars, woven Ankara banners, and an audience of leaders from across Africa. She held the mic loosely and walked onto the stage. "I've been misunderstood," she began. "Not because I lied, but because I didn't explain." The room held its breath. "But I've learned something. You don't have to defend your healing to those who profit from your pain." As she spoke, no one moved. No one blinked. Her words were not just sentences, they were medicine. She didn't tell them about Cassandra. She didn't name David. She simply honored the girl she used to be, the one who had once tried to be invisible to avoid pain. But that night, Amanda didn't post online. She didn't scroll. She went home, lit a candle, and sat by the window whispering to herself, This was never about revenge. It was about remembering who I was before they taught me to perform. And outside, the city of Lagos hummed not in judgment, not in applause, but in quiet agreement. What did you take away from Amanda's journey, her silence, her strength, and her quiet form of resistance? Do you believe peace can be more powerful than public defense? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this story moved you, inspired you, or simply made you think, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss more powerful storytelling like this. Thank you for being here.